You place the flower.
Hello, Westchester. This is 91.7 WCUR The Curve. And this is your host, Maureen Farley, with another episode for you today of Bloom, where we try to grow together and we try to learn something new every day. So today I have a special guest coming. He's going to come a little bit later. He's a really good friend of mine and my brother in Phi Sigma Pi, and his name is Jack Cavanaugh. And Jack's faced a lot of growth in the past few years of his life after an event that has changed him forever. And I won't spoil it, I'll let him talk about it. But we're going to talk today about acceptance and when things don't go your way, how to let go, and how to move on. And we're also going to talk about, putting yourself out there and just taking chances. For now, though, you're listening to 91.7 WCUR The Curve. And this is Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Our House.
Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard.
You are listening to 91.7 WCUR The Curve FM. And I'm your host, Maureen Farley, and you're listening to Bloom, the show all about growth and self-improvement and self-empowerment. And you just heard 2 different versions of Woodstock, the first by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and the second by Joni Mitchell. And you can tweet at WCUR what you like better. Joni Mitchell is the original. She wrote the song, she wrote the lyrics, and that became really popular and famous almost as like a counterculture anthem. Her voice in it is a lot more ethereal, whereas in Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's version, I find their voices to be more aggressive. Not necessarily in an angry way, but they're sticking it to the man in a way. And right now underneath me is Morning Morgantown, which is one of my favorite songs. The weather outside today is kind of gloomy, and that's the way it's been for the past week or so, although there was a brief lapse in the weather and the sun came out for a minute. But it went back in, got kind of tired. It's currently 72 degrees outside right now and cloudy, and that's the way it's going to be all of today. The sun is not expected to come out at any point, and there isn't really a chance of rain at all today either. It's just going to be a dark, cloudy day. The sun will set at 7:01 p.m. today. Isn't that crazy? As the days go on and the days get shorter, I find myself to get tired a lot earlier in the day, and it's definitely linked to the light. Tomorrow, our high is 76, and it's going to be cloudy again, so a day similar today, a little bit warmer. Saturday, partly cloudy skies with a high of 71. Sunday, a high of 67, dipping into the 60s. It's finally fall, I guess, and the sun stays in. And then Monday and Tuesday, it stays in the 60s with cloudy skies. All right. It's a great day to be outside in Westchester. There's a lot going on. As I was walking past the quad today, I saw people playing frisbee, there was people walking dogs. It's a day like morning in Morgantown, except cloudy and 76 degrees, or 72 degrees, sorry about that. Want to earn bookstore dollars throughout the semester just by participating across campus? Well, download the free app, Scavify. Sign up using your WCU ID and find the RAM Rewards Hunt. Participate in RAM Rewards events and service across campus. Find the RAM Rewards point poster and QR codes and scan them to earn points. Bookstore gift cards will be awarded to students with the most points periodically throughout the semester. just join and play now. It's a great way to save some money and make sure that you're participating across campus.
Reinvent my name. Well, if you are to redirect my name, I wanna be the king of Spain. And now.
So the first thing that's going on in the news right now that everybody is talking about is Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh, as you know, it has been nominated for to fill the spot of the Supreme Court that opened last year. Now there are sex allegations that have come up against Brett Kavanaugh from a former high school classmate. And so the Judiciary Board is looking at this and deciding if the accuser wants to press charges and go to trial for this, then the Supreme Court nominations will be postponed. Next, Hurricane Florence is in full swing still, and in South Carolina, a few people died while they were in a van transporting them between mental health facilities. So those are very tragic deaths that Mother Nature has claimed. And this is really crazy. An urban legend come true. There are sewing needles being found in strawberries in Australia. And so when people bite into the strawberries, they're cutting their mouths and they're getting diseases and they're hurting their teeth and their gums. And it's tragic because you just want to eat the strawberry, but you're being hurt. So there's a local in Australia, it's called #SmashAStraw, and that's dominating social media right now, where you're supposed to smash your strawberry before you eat it to make sure that there's not a sewing needle in there and you're not going to hurt your mouth. So that's what's going on right now. And also there are some complications with Brexit that is supposed to be completed by March when the UK is supposed to succeed from the Union. So they have to get that figured out if they want to move forward with Brexit. So good luck. This is The Gardener by The Tallest Man on Earth.
I sense a runner in the garden.
And we're back. You're listening to 91.7 WCUR, The Curve FM, and you're listening to Bloom, the show all about growing and self-empowerment. And I'm your host, Maureen Farley, and our special guest is here, Jack Cavanaugh. Say hi, Jack.
How's it going, Westchester?
All right. Nice. Thank you so much. Jack probably broke some speeding laws while trying to get here, so I really appreciate your help. Is this your first time on radio or anything like that?
No, it's been a while since, my original college. I helped out my roommate by guest starring, so for all the listeners out there, if you're from the Scranton area and go about 8 years back, you'll hear my voice again.
Well, we're glad to have you back on Westchester Station this time. So, I met Jack about a year ago, right? We're both brothers in Phi Sigma Pi. And Jack has I think it's a pretty inspirational story. But I think that you think that you're just an everyday kind of guy. But I think you're a superhero.
I think you're being too kind.
In your life, you faced a lot of struggle, unexpected struggle, right? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Probably in the last 5 years. So, 5 years ago, I fell from a balcony and I was rushed to a hospital, laid in a coma for about a month and a half, and just basically had to relearn how to do just about everything.
Everything as simple as walking and talking.
Oh yeah.
Feeding yourself.
I didn't talk for at least months when I became aware. I came out of the coma, I was in a rehab center, but even before that, it's the lights were on, but no one was home.
Yeah. Jack, you talk about it as if you've already mastered this story of your past. And it seems like you have. But it had to be frustrating along the way.
Definitely, like, especially this year, and particularly because August 11th, everything, like, went black. That's when I fell, so every year I sort of celebrate my anniversary and just reanalyze where I came, how far I came, where I was, and for this one it's like 5 years, so it hit me hard because I was like, oh, I'm back in school, but there's still so much I can't do, and I feel like I should be able to.
Wow. So by remembering where you were and seeing where you are now and judging the growth between that, is that what kind of keeps you going?
Yep, and the one thing I tell my parents the most, because if by any chance, Mom or Dad, you're listening in right now, you did a phenomenal job, but I still tell them the one thing I always miss is they didn't take any pictures at me like in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean,
it also must have been very hard for your whole family to cope with, not necessarily knowing what was going to happen, It was a roadblock for you and for everybody who loves you.
yep.
Wow, you've really come a long way.
I mean, I got a hands on, like, someone else's, like, picture, like, nurses took a picture of me with, like, a Notre Dame, like, football player because my sister went to Notre Dame, and I'm actually going down to North Carolina to the Notre Dame game on Saturday versus Wake Forest.
That is so exciting. That's really cool.
I mean, like, that's the picture, and that was taken, like, pretty early, like, a few months, like, after my injury. It's like I'm there. No
So
recollection of the picture being taken. Don't know who, like, that guy is.
So you were there, but you weren't really there.
Well, it's like,
Physically, you were there.
I mean, it's like the expression, like, trying to think of it. It's like the lights are on, but
Nobody's
one's
home.
home.
Yeah, and it seems, now that I've known you for about a year, it seems that you live your life very presently now. Do you feel like you're trying to make up for some lost time? Or, like, make the most of the time that you have left?
I mean, probably the saying from, like, I know a lot of people have said it, but the first time I heard it was in the movie Kung Fu Panda. Like, no, but it's like every day is a gift. Like, the past is history, the, like, future is a mystery, the present is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I try to, like...
Moment of zen. Wise words from Kung Fu Panda.
Yep.
But you're right. That's completely true. I think that your story, although it's very intense and traumatic, not everybody faces the same exact struggle and the same intensity. But there's a lesson that everybody can apply to their life, I think. And that's why I feel like...
Don't sit on balconies.
Well, there's one. Don't sit on balconies. You'll lose your balance, right?
Yep.
But when you do lose your balance on the figurative balcony of life,
Sure, I guess.
you can move forward, right?
Takes time, like, that's what I tell, like, everyone. I still volunteer, like, at the rehab center I was at, and I meet like everyone going through it, and I talk to their parents, and like, what's one like piece of advice I should tell my son or tell my daughter? I'm just like, honestly, just be stubborn as hell and don't settle. Like, just keep building those goals, like short term or long term. It feels great when you meet them and you get to check them off.
That's amazing. So what is that like, going back to the place, Moss Rehab, you said?
Yeah.
That you went to rehab at, and you learned all of your skills, like motor skills and basic motor functions. What is that like for you, giving back and volunteering? Do you remember the staff? Do they remember you?
Like, everyone, like, knows me there. It's, like, unfortunately, like, it's a second home away from home. But, I mean, it's so rewarding because the way I look at it, they gave me my life back, and it wouldn't make sense, like, when I'm able not to, like, go back and repay the favor or just help someone who's on the same journey, like, along the way, and just be like, well, you could try, like, this, or, like, swimming, like, basically was the thing that, like, clicked walking for me.
Oh, okay.
That and, like, just crawling, chasing my dog around.
Yeah. And definitely your positive attitude, you know? You're stubborn. And that's probably what got you through.
Yeah.
You know? That's awesome. That's really inspirational. And like I said, not everybody has your story. But I know that, you know, in my life and in everybody's life, struggles do happen, unexpected struggles especially. And it's really hard to move forward. You know? But your advice, just to be stubborn as hell, kind of apply to everybody.
It's like, just in simple terms, it's like, never settle, just be stubborn. Like, you have to look at me like everything was just like taken away or stripped away, and I have to like work for everything to get it back.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what kind of life do I want? It's like, make the most of it.
Wow. Very cool. So what do you think about celebrating growth along the way? I know that you said that you acknowledge the anniversary every year of the day that you fell, and you tend to look back a lot at the experience. Do you think that that's important to...
Oh yeah, it's definitely important. Especially with me, because so many people got affected by my injury. So the first year, like the first anniversary, like I was just like, oh no, like my parents said, what do you want to do for this? I was like, oh no, we're celebrating it. Like, I'm gonna invite like everyone who...
Okay.